evening, class. We are here with the founder and the president of Crossfire, a Veterans Assistance Agency, Oscar
Wonderful.
Ramirez.
It's a real privilege to have you here.
Some of the students of Miami-Dade might be interested to help. We like to ask you questions about what Crossfire
We have had many students from Miami-Dade come, and they've every single one of them, have just been a tremendous asset to what we're trying to do here. So I welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you. We'd like to ask you first, what is Crossfire?
Crossfire is a very unique organization. Crossfire is the nation's first and only veteran-specific human services organization. There's a lot of organizations that offer services to veterans or to anybody who comes in, but we're the only organization in the entire country that is veteran-specific. If somebody comes in that's not a veteran, we refer them to other agencies. But Crossfire is the only organization in the nation that is faith-based and is veteran-specific.
Why and when Crossfire was founded?
My background includes theology, which involves spirituality. We're a faith-based organization. And it also includes psychology. I was able to mix these two aspects of recovery together and give a very unique therapeutic program that is not found anywhere else. So it evolved out of the Point Man organization. I found that I needed to do something a little more specific. Theirs was general, and mine is much more specific and much more therapeutic. So Crossfire has been around since 2002, I believe, is when we were founded.
What are the services that Crossfire
offers? A number of services, and they're all decentralized. Very few of those services are offered here under this roof. We do some individual counseling. We do some couples counseling, marriage and family therapy, and we do some very small groups of maybe 4 or 5 veterans. Veterans don't like to congregate too much together to talk about their experiences because it makes them uncomfortable. So where you would normally have a group session of a maximum of 15, we found that 8 is probably the most veterans you want to have in any one situation, one therapeutic situation, talking about their experiences. We offer a number of services, most of them in the way of referral. We work with the Miami Rescue Mission for homeless veterans. We do drug counseling for substance abusers. We work with the reentry program, the criminal justice system, veterans who for whatever reason have found themselves involved within the legal system, and we try to get them back into the job force and back into normal civilization. We have a relationship recovery aspect to it, and that is many veterans unfortunately have difficulties with relationships, and so we try to do reconciliation between husbands and wives and that type of thing. Sometimes it's an alienation between the father and his son, or father and his daughter, for various reasons. And so relationship restoration is a very significant part of it.
Exactly, or approximately how many veterans are on the streets?
Number. Because they're on the streets, they don't have an address, and even when the census is taken every several years, you never really know if you got all of them. Those veterans that are on the streets have shame issues and embarrassment issues, and they really don't want to see people or talk to people because they're embarrassed or ashamed that they live in a car or live under a bridge. And so very frequently when somebody who's dressed normally approaches them, they'll run away, or they'll just clam up. They won't speak to people. So the actual unknown, or the actual figure of homeless veterans is unknown. I do know that there's a large contingent of veterans living in the Florida Everglades because they were never able to make the transition back into civilization. So there's several hundred veterans that are living in the Everglades, living in the jungle, and they feel comfortable there, and they don't want anybody to bother them.
You encourage Miami-Dade students to help with your agency?
I really want to address this because a lot of people think that Miami-Dade students, how can a student help in this situation? Actually, you really can help. There's so many things that you can do. For example, interviewing veterans of people, friends, relatives, someone who's served in the military, talking to them. We have brochures that have a questionnaire. Ask them what their issues are, what what their personal problems are. We encourage our Miami-Dade students to come and participate. They can't be a part of the clinical setting because you need special training for that. And most of the time, the things that are revealed in a clinical setting can cause secondary trauma. That means they're so horrific that if you listen to them, those images of the stories you listen to will stay embedded in your mind. So you need some really special training and dealing with the veterans. So Miami-Dade students may not have a hands-on clinical experience with our clients, but certainly they can start the ball rolling by talking to veterans, surveying them, giving them some of the material, offering that to them, telling them that we're here, and then following up with us and telling us, listen, we have an individual here who can use your services and use your help. Encourage students in whatever discipline you choose to have, whatever area you're studying in. We can use you, we can help you, you can make a real, genuine difference in the community, you can make a real difference in the lives of the people that you may not even know are veterans, that in fact are veterans. You can make a difference in their lives.
Behind cameras, before we started the interview with Mr. Ramirez, he was talking about his son. He's a young man, then he's a veteran, and I'd like you to introduce to our class about that.
My patriotism from my father, who came from another country. My father had an expression, he said, I am an American, not by chance of birth, but by choice. And so he came to the United States and he considered himself a patriot, an American, and he was a veteran as well. So many of the things, the work ethic, the patriotism, the love of country, the love of serving the community, I learned from my own father who was a veteran. I've passed these values on to my sons.